Well, here we are, the day of the convention, and we're just 1 hour and 38 minutes away from the start of the 2020 NCGOP State Convention. Now, since I last gave you, left yesterday with part one of the pregame report, there have been some interesting developments. Waiting for the official email for this convention was quite a wondrous experience. It was kind of like how many of my fellow guy friends out there, you ask a girl out in person, right, on a date, and they say yes, and then a few days later, you send them a text, send them a Facebook message, what have you, and you just say, hey, you want to follow up on the date? This is what I'm thinking we can do. Then after that, you wait to hear back from them. And a couple hours turns into a couple days, and then you say, now it's like 3 or 4 days later, and it's like, hey, did you ever get my message? And then finally they message you back, say, oh, sorry, but I just can't go on a date right now. I'm just very busy with other stuff. Or they'll make up some excuse, and you just, it drives me nuts because you put all of this effort, and because I'm out in public, I'm a very introverted person. You think that the hardest part is over. You ask a girl out, she says yes, great, it's all downhill from there. But no, it's not, because then you have to get the sort of the rebuttal to your date request. Well, this is kind of how the convention email went. It was 5:30 yesterday when I did the first part of my pregame show, right? And I was thinking that any minute now I'm going to get the convention email. What I mean by convention email is, in case you didn't watch the first part of my pregame show, this is going to be a virtual convention this year. In the past, because of the whole COVID scam, it's a scam. More on that later. The in-person conventions, you register, you go through registration before you get to the convention. They always give you a goodie bag where you have, a couple booklets, some brochures. This year, though, because it's a virtual convention, you get an email goodie bag, and basically you get an ebook of everything that's going to be going on at the convention. Well, that email, 5:30 yesterday, I'm going to get any minute now. Then 5:30 turned to 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Still did not get the email. And finally, it was about time for me to go to bed. So this morning, I wake up about 8:30. Finally, the convention email was in my inbox. And it was sent last night at 11:06 p.m. Okay? Now remember, years past, we've been able to register at 3 o'clock, and even a couple years before that, it was like noon on Thursday, a full 18 to 24 hours for the convention. But now by the time you get up, I had to run a couple errands, and now I'm here, 90 minutes for the convention. Finally now, I have an opportunity to actually look at this convention information. It's crazy, but, it's been a crazy year, so hopefully, next year things will go back to normal, and I'll be able to actually do a pregame show the day before the convention, not 90 minutes before the convention. Anyway, so we get the email. It's got confidential information. It's got my delegate ID, passwords, how to watch the convention proceedings, Zoom login information, all that stuff. The ballots for everything we're going to be voting on, and that sort. Now, one thing that really kind of grind my gears about this is that okay, the information in this email and the 2020 NCGOP convention digital program are only meant for the recipients of this email. Do not share this email or program with anyone. Now, look, I understand about not, sharing my login info and password for Zoom or the convention live stream, but all the conventions, to my knowledge, over the years have always been open. I mean, guests can register, media can get credentialed and watch the conventions. I don't know why this year has to be any different. This digital program is essentially the convention booklet, and it does not have any confidential information. Most of the information in the booklet is also on the NCGOP website, and anybody can log on to that website, and get this information. So I don't understand why they had to, they should have just said the information in this email is confidential except for the digital program. We encourage that to be made public record or something like that. But if anybody from the NCGOP office has a problem with me doing these convention videos, let me know and I will erase them from my YouTube channel. I told Forsyth County the same thing last year when they had a no media coverage rule, but I was like, I'm conservative media, that's a lot different, and if they had a problem with me doing convention videos, I'd take them off. But nobody from Forsyth County has ever reached out to me to say I had to do that, so perfectly legal. And there are a couple members of the Central Committee that know that I do these convention videos, and they're perfectly okay with it too, so I know they would have my back in any kind of litigation. Okay, so let's go to the convention program. And this is usually at an in-person convention you get two booklets. You get one that's like a red or a blue booklet of all the resolutions, the platform changes, plan organization changes, all that stuff. And then you get another booklet that's the general. It's got the agenda, candidates, pictures, elected official pictures, maybe a few advertisements, etc. It's like the convention program or whatever. It's like a program if you go to a baseball game, one of those things. The cover of the convention program is a very well taken picture of downtown Greenville. I believe this is facing east. You have right in the center of the picture is the 10th Street connector, aka Leo Jenkins Highway. I want to make sure I said it right because my buddy Henry Hinton out in Greenville would definitely appreciate that. He does Talk of the Town on 7 to 9 Monday through Friday on WTIB FM 103.7 and 96.3 if you're listening down towards Morehead City, Jacksonville area. Plug. But yeah, we get the 10th Street connector in the middle of the picture, and then we see most of the East Carolina University campus, and I think we got the baseball stadium, and if you look really hard you might be able to see Dowdy Ficklin Stadium where the Pirates football team plays as well. And I'm glad they kept that cover picture in there because that's sort of a nice tribute to what the convention should be, as it should be in Greenville, and it should not be a virtual event, but this King Roy Cooper decided that this was not permissible. And we have the table of contents, a letter from Michael Watley explaining everything about the whole convention battle with Roy Cooper. I've already been over that. I'm not going to read that again. Frequently asked questions. What if I don't get an email? What if I know my delegate number is? Why aren't we getting vote totals? Okay, this is important. After confirming with the parliamentarian the number of votes for each ballot question will be announced. However, both candidates for National Committeewoman have agreed that for that race, only the winner will be announced. And that just ticks me off, because all the committee person races and all the chairman's races have always been, each vote total for each county has always been read. And not only that, but they have this nice little projector screen that'll show you the vote being calculated through the weighted vote formula. Okay. Got some other questions. Voting will be done through the ballot links on either the email, or if you gave the state party your phone number, you'll get a text message with a vote reminder, or you can do it through the digital program. Let's see, what other questions do we want to read here? It's going to be a 10-minute vote window, okay? Make sure after you make your selections on the ballot, you hit submit. Again, 10-minute window. If you vote after the 10-minute window has been closed, it's not going to count. Another good question. Why can I only see the chairman and not all the squares? The NCGOP and a professional audio-visual team will be utilizing the Zoom webinar feature, which means that only designated panelists will be visible to all attendees. Okay, so this webinar, okay, and then there's another follow-up question. Where are the raise hand, chat, etc. Zoom control items? The NCGOP and professional audio visual team will utilize the Zoom webinar feature, which disables all Zoom features, which includes raising hand, chat, screen share, mute, and video during the state convention. That's important. Most of the Zoom meetings that I have attended during this whole COVID mess have been interactive. You can raise your hand and chat, or raise your hand to speak, or you can there's a chat feature, you type in a question. But looks like this state convention here is going to be very straightforward. We're going to have a lot of speakers speaking, and then we're going to take votes. But the one thing I strongly dislike about virtual convention is that there is no opportunity to debate anything. That has been taken away. All the opportunity to debate was stopped about a couple weeks ago, because a month ago you had all the committee reports become available on the NCGOP website. And then if you wanted to debate any of them, you had to fill out a form. But in other years, when we had the in-person event, you could wait until the day of the convention, and we would go over the reports during the convention, and then you would have an opportunity to go to a microphone on the convention floor and ask a question, debate something, etc. But unfortunately, that is going to be done away with. Let's see. How is the votes a secret ballot if you are identifying me? Your vote is secure and private. The identifying information is only used to prove your validity as a delegate, but will not be attached to the ballot cast. Only the tabulations team will see this information. That was a big deal. Wow, last year in Concord, because that was the first year where they actually did an election electronically with these little handheld devices, and there was this whole conspiracy theory going around that your number, people would be able to know who voted based on your number. And apparently, if you had a star by your number, you were a good person. If you were a bad person, you did not have a star. Some real out in outer space theorem or something. So this event gets started at 12:30. We got the welcome. We got all the committee reports. What I noticed different about this convention is they actually have a time attached to when the committee reports are going to be. Like at 1 o'clock, we'll have rules committee report. 1:30 be credentials. 2:30 plan of organization, etc., etc. And then the committee man and women votes will be at 3:45, 4:15 respectively. Now here's my question, and this is something I just thought of this morning. It would have been nice to have this discussed a couple days earlier, but here we are. Is the convention chairman going to stick to these times, or are we just going to okay, let's say we do all the welcome. The welcome stuff is not going to take 30 minutes. We just have a prayer, pledge, national anthem, Chairman Watley remarks, and then RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel is going to speak. That is not going to take anywhere close to an hour and a half. A half hour. So after Mrs. McDaniel gets done speaking, are we going to go right to the rules if we finish at 12:45, or are we going to stop and have a 15-minute break and then go to the rules right at 1 o'clock? This is important because a lot of people, especially on a Friday, in years past, what has happened is a lot of people will work on Friday, treat Friday like any other day of the week, and just go to the convention on Saturday, because Saturday is when the major votes on your chairman and your committee people are usually being taken. Okay, most of the lighter stuff is going to be on Friday, although Friday you still do have some rules, plan of organization, that sort of thing too. Now this year everything is on Friday. There's nothing on Saturday. This year's a little different, obviously. So here's a good question: is most people, well, probably half of the convention delegates are probably just going to want to tune in for the committee woman vote and the RNC delegates vote. And according to this, it's going to be at 4:15. But what if the convention just runs through everything back to back to back and does not observe the schedule, right? A lot of people are going to be disappointed. But then again, what about those of us hardcore convention people who like to watch the convention, participate from beginning to end? We might get bored waiting. Then again, I'm at home, so I can watch some TV if I want to while I'm waiting. But that's another thing that's going to be interesting to see. And then after the RNC delegates vote, it's presidential elector vote. And then we're going to have the heavy hitters: Justice Paul Newby, Senator Tom Tillis, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest. And then the program got the call-in info. If you need help, you can send an email or you can text to any of the. There's 4 different phone numbers. Wow. So apparently they got 4 or 5 people that are going to be on staff to help them with the convention. That's actually normal. Not much of a difference from an in-person event. In-person event, they always have staffers go around the convention hall and assist with, people need to get to the microphone, people need to be recognized to speak, that sort of thing. This year is going to be more of a technical thing, and not so much sitting in a convention hall trying to get to the microphone. Okay, then we got the ballots. If I click on a ballot right now, all it's going to say is voting for ballot number 1, Credentials Committee, will begin upon command of the convention chair, but it also has a link to the credentials report in case you have any questions about what you're going to vote on. So you can get to the ballot either through your digital program or through your official convention email. Okay, alright, so after the ballots we have the links to the committee reports. Those are also been on the NCGOP website for 30 days. And also then you have your ballot again listed. So you got like it's very easy, very accessible to get to everything. Under the credentials committee report ballot, we have the speakers that are going to speak. That's the same for your rules committee, planarization committee, platform committee, resolutions committee. I'm being told that the resolutions committee report is going to be a little bit longer than the other reports, because apparently there's an amendment that is going to be contested to one of the resolutions. Okay, then we have committee man election. We have Mr. Ed Broyhill, who's running unopposed. It says Mr. Ed Broyhill of Forsyth County is recognized as one of America's premier entrepreneurs and has an accomplished background in furniture manufacturing, retail, high-tech, and investment banking. Politically, he has served on the North Carolina Finance Committee or acting finance chair of every presidential nominee since President Richard Nixon. As the Hall of Fame J.E. Broyhill Award winner 2019. How's that? Like, you share the last name with an award winner. That's pretty cool, huh? As Hall of Fame winner in 2019, he's been one of North Carolina's leading Republicans, helping to organize and fundraise for countless state and local races for 50 years. His grandfather, J.E. Broyhill, okay, that's who the award was named after. That's pretty cool. J.E. Broyhill's grandfather served as NCGOP National Committee man from 1948 till 1976. 28 years. Wow, it's a long time. His father, U.S. Senator James T. Broyhill, served in the U.S. Congress from 1962 till 1986, and subsequently served as NC Secretary of Commerce. The Broyhill furniture brand is respected throughout the world. Okay. Supporters. Linda Petraw of Forsyth County, District 6 Vice Chairwoman. Aaron Berlin, Forsyth County Chairman of the County Republican Party. And then Jill Osborne, Forsyth County Executive Director. I believe that was meant to say Forsyth County Republican Party Executive Director. Okay. And then, of course, we've got all the speakers. It looks like Mark Brody's going to speak first. He's the current RNC committee man for North Carolina. He's going to speak in support of Ed Broyhill, and then Ed Broyhill is going to speak, and then we're going to go to the Pat Smith, president of the North Carolina Federation of Republican Women, and some other speakers on that as well. Committee woman election. Excuse me. We have Kim Cotton West first, and I'll read her little blurb here. She says, I have been honored to have continuously served in leadership positions within the Republican Party for the last 25 years. During that time, I have served on the NCGOP Central Committee for the past 13 years. During this time, I have assisted in raising thousands of dollars for Republican organizations, including the NC House Caucus, helped numerous candidates with their elections, and have led the charge to educate and train our party volunteers across the state for many years. And I currently serve as your NCCA chairman. That's the District and County Chairmen's Association. Having historical and current knowledge of the political issues, perspective, and experience are what I bring to the table. The knowledge and experience have prepared me to serve as your national committee woman, and I represent North Carolina. Key supporters: Representative Keith Kidwell, North Carolina House District 79, representing Beaufort County in the State House. Nada Larimore of Wilkes County, and Floyd Adsit of the Granville County Republican Party chairman, who I know and met in person. I also know Keith Kidwell's a great person. Nada is Nada to me. I've not met that person yet. Keisha Line. Okay, one. Go back to Kim Cotton West, and she lives in eastern North Carolina in Washington County, very rural county. She was the chairwoman of Washington County Republican Party, and then she became the District 3 chair, was that for like 2 or 3 terms, and now she does the DCCA. Her mother, you might know, Joyce Cotton, has been involved in the party for a long time. She's been District 2 chair, a county, I think Chatham County, several years ago, and some other things. So Mrs. Cotton West has definitely been involved in the party for a long time. Okay, and she also helped back in the 2000s. The NCYRs, Young Republicans, was going through a real turbulent time. Just really lackluster membership numbers, weak membership numbers. People in the upper echelon of the YRs not doing good jobs. And Kim Cotton West was the one who started to rebuild the program to what it is today. Now we have Keisha Weinberger. She says, "Hello, North Carolina Republican delegates. I am running for RNC committeewoman to represent you at the national level and across the state. My political history includes being a lifelong Republican and coming from a long line of political servants. I was raised by my father, a staunch conservative Republican who was president of his Americans for Freedom chapter at Florida State University and vice president of the YRs. He taught me to love the Lord as my Savior, respect guns and gun ownership, protect the unborn, and that America is the greatest nation on earth. The first campaign I worked on was for Jesse Helms when I was in college in 1990. My professional history includes being a successful small business owner for over 20 years of buying and revamping struggling child care centers. As Republicans, we believe in giving a hand up. I do this with business mentoring and leadership advocacy for youth and professional working women. I have served on the board of Project We Care for 10 years. I also serve on the board of directors at a charter school in Charlotte. I stand by the Republican value of school choice. Friends, at the end of the day, we are all Republicans. We must stand together, vote, and fight. If we don't push back, we will lose our country and the principles on which we were founded. As your RNC committeewoman, I will fight with you and for you, and I will continue to work for you and for North Carolina." Thank you. Key supporters of Ms. Weinberger include John Stewart of Union County, and current chairman of District 9, Yolanda Hill Robinson, Guilford County, the wife of current Lieutenant Governor candidate Mark Keith Robinson, and Julie Emmons of Alamance County, who is current chair of the Platform Committee. Okay. And then, this is gonna, while the vote's being tabulated, we'll have RNC Committeewoman, current and outgoing RNC Committeewoman Ada Fisher speak, and then we'll have Kim Cotton West, candidate, and Keisha Weinberger, candidate, speak, and then we'll have some other speakers as well during that time. RNC delegates, I'm not really sure how this is going to work, if this is going to be a strictly, do you support the delegates, yes or no, or is this going to be more of pick your top 5, and the top 5 most highest vote getters get to be a delegate to the RNC. Don't know how that's going to go, but it's It's quite a list. Delegates and alternate at-large delegates to the RNC, replacement alternate at-large delegates, and let's see, presidential elector election, at-large presidential electors. That ballot's going to be a lot smaller. We just have two, Michelle Nix versus Michael Whatley, and the alternate at-large presidential electors of Catherine Lawler and Brenda Rembert. Dearly departed. This, if you don't know, is it's not in the program this year, but they do list. It's a listing of all the elected officials, former elected officials that are Republicans or Republican Party activists, precinct chairs, etc., who've all passed away in the last year. And I will read the names on another video segment, probably tomorrow after the whole convention's over with. And of course, I'll do my usual credentials committee and all that stuff. Okay, well, it is 11:23, and just got a little over an hour until the convention starts. So I need to get ready. I need to get myself in the zone. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Bye bye.